And the main test of this video is to find out whether this Pacer Pro at £270 delivers everything that I actually need in a watch as an everyday runner trying to train for a marathon. So let's go and find out. So today is my first long run with the Polar Pacer Pro. I've only had one run in it so far, so I'm not that familiar with it. But I've got my old watch on as well because I do want to be able to compare the stats and see how accurate it is compared to what I'm used to running with. Yeah, so I'm going to hit go on them both now and we're going to go for a spin. The primary aim for this run is just to get outside and get some time on feet, so there's no stress on timing, having to blitz this one. Just want to get some gains from more regular training and yeah, putting some miles on my feet and my legs. I am right at the start now of a new training block where I pretty much just want to get fit again so I can have a solid run up to marathon season in October. In the meantime, we'll probably enter some 5-10Ks along the way and hit up some park runs. But yeah, right now it's all about taking things steady. So it's worth noting that my old watch, I can show you on my other hand, this watch is a Garmin Fenix 5, which I got in about 2017, just before I ran the New York Marathon. And at the time it was Garmin's latest innovation, packed with everything you'd ever need. Nowadays, still a fantastic watch, still has most of the things I need on it, but one thing that's very clear with the Polar watch is just how lightweight it is. When you've got both on your wrists or in your hands, you can feel the difference massively when you switch them out. So yeah, that's a good thing. So one of the most important things to consider when buying a new watch is what you actually need it for. It's all well and good being sold maps and all these extreme kind of features on watches, but the reality is if you're heading out for some daily miles, maybe you're doing a marathon block or something, or maybe you're just sort of training for your first race, you got to question whether you need it or whether you want it, and whether you want is worth the extra multiple £100s you're probably going to spend on the upgrades. For some people it absolutely is. If you're off-roading a lot, if you're training for an ultra, or if you're, you know, really serious about the aesthetic of the watch and you just love it, then fair play, spend a bit more money. But if you don't, then really I find the only things I seriously need are heart rate. You want to know what pace you're running at, your distance, how long you've been running, and ideally your average pace over the duration of your run, so that you know if you need to gradually speed up or not. So now I'm in a tunnel and I can't really talk to the camera much anymore, so I'll come back to this conversation in a minute. Now that tunnel is out of the way, it's quite a good tunnel actually. What makes me very happy about the Polar Pacer Pro is that the initial start screen when you start your run by default is heart rate at the top. We've got distance on the left, current pace on the right hand side, and the duration of your run underneath. And it's automatically popping up every kilometre with my split for that K and my overall time and distance. So, you know, that is as far as it goes for running basics, what you want on a watch. This has got plenty of other features, but when you set off, that's the initial thing that I like to be seeing. Something I think is worth noting is that on my 5-year-old watch, I have never really been able to trust the heart rate monitor on the wrist, and that's quite common for a lot of watches. It's quite hard to know whether you're getting an accurate reading, so I have purchased a strap that you wear closer to your heart and get a more accurate reading. So quite interested to see how the heart rate monitor compares on this watch, and immediately with both watches on, this watch, the Garmin 5 years old, is fluctuating quite a lot on what is a very easy relaxed run. Yeah, there's a couple of small rolling hills, but it's going spiking quite high up and down, like up to like nearly 180. To be honest, I wasn't working hard enough for it to do that. So this watch, however, has maintained fairly consistent gradual changes. I'm guessing that because the Pacer Pro isn't fluctuating anywhere near as much, it must be doing a more accurate reading. So at the moment I'm impressed with the heart rate monitor on this watch, and so far the time, distance, pace, everything is adding up to exactly what's on my other watch, which is really reassuring. Another awesome feature of this Polar Pacer Pro is that there is a wrist-based power meter, so it can give you a power output from your run, what your minimum output was during running, and what your maximum was. So you can see how hard you're working, and I have no idea how it's measuring that, but when I get home I will do some homework and find out a little bit more info. So to conclude my thoughts from the first long run in the Polar Pacer Pro, it does everything the name suggests. You want reliability, you want accuracy, you want to be able to trust it, and you kind of want no nonsense. Yes, there are some things on other watches that may be required for some niche people, but in all honesty, the majority of runners will want exactly what's jam-packed into this watch. It's lightweight, feels super comfortable, barely notice it on your wrist, and the menu functions, everything like that, are really easy to find, understand and use. So I mean, all round positive thumbs up from me on this watch, and for the price point it comes in at, I think the value for money is the thing that gets me with this one. That it literally does 95% of all the things any runner would ever want it to do, and it's probably half the price or even a third of the price some of the top end watches that we're seeing out there today. Big thumbs up. If you have enjoyed today's video, please give it a thumbs up, like, subscribe, and of course drop me a comment below if you have any questions about it. I'd love to know your thoughts. So I don't know if you can hear that sound, but in my back pocket my phone alarm has just gone off telling me to wake up and get out of bed, and I've already done 12.5k. That's the best feeling ever.